Hello and welcome to Common Writer Black Man. And this is just an example of how to sum up the year. 2020 sucked. Like this year alone, not just for me, but for others, kicked them in the balls in so many different ways. If this year was to have a symbol, it would be the middle finger wearing a face mask. Pretty much. Where do I even start? How about with this? COVID shook the country, causing businesses to either close or be done online. And if you're a restaurant, you stayed in business throughout the time through Grubhub, Uber Eats, or through your own thing, most likely through websites or just wherever through your own thing, as well as celebrity deaths, even those not related to COVID. Biggest example being Kobe Bryant, because when I heard the news, I still couldn't believe it. Just like how I couldn't believe the news for Chadwick Boseman's death, which still freaking surprises me. Just wow. Rest in peace, King. And if we're touching on personal stuff, or at least are tiptoeing into it, before that, let's describe the summer of 2020, which was rioting and protesting about racial inequality. Because, man, for those like George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, people were pissed. And when it was out on the news about places looting, there's literally a Wawa down the road for me. It closed early and boarded up their walls because they wanted no part of that. And now for something personal. A beloved gym that I joined unfortunately closed that made me pretty upset, as well as the owner. It didn't close down because of COVID or anything, but because it unfortunately was not making a lot of money. Sad, because I was there for like a whole year. Well, year and a half. But I still keep in contact with my old trainer. He's doing great. He works at Amazon. But if 2020 at least wanted to end it on a good note, at least one good thing at least happened this year politically. It's that we got President Trump, or should I say former President Trump, the hell out of office. And now we have President Biden, to which I have no problems with at all. And now for the real personal stuff. I quit my job of 2 years to get a new job. It was going to be at a department store, which did not happen. But then, 2 jobs later, I currently found a job that I'm at right now and have been for 4 months. No complaints about it. Also, I have watched and reviewed and recorded 2 full show reviews within a month, twice this year. And I still work out in fighting, and I've actually joined a traveling school for that, and have made new friends, which I consider brothers. To be fair, in that group, we all call each other brothers, but yeah. Oh yeah, another big highlight of the year. I cut off my dreads. Yeah. I cut off my dreads. The one part of my body that stood out the most and how people could recognize me, gone. I might grow them back though. I'm still thinking about it now. And this may seem a bit dramatic. That's because I'm going to the biggest shock of my life so far this year. The untimely death of my older sister. Sad face. It, well, to me at least, was unexpected, because when you have a sibling that's been out of the hospital for like most of your life, you sit through a pattern and you expect nothing bad. But when something different actually happens in that pattern, shocks the hell out of you. And for around that time of her passing, I was I was going to be mentally prepared either way. I that my sister's that my sister was going to be gone, like whether or not. Just so yeah, fuck this year. Fuck this year. Hope 2021 is so much better. Yeah. And if I'm still talking about things that bring me down, but only slightly, my sister's death was only the big thing that really got me this year. Like, the only second thing that really changed my life was that now, well, a couple months ago, I decided to drop out of college. Let me explain why, at least. When COVID broke out and we all switched to online learning, it was a bit of a hassle, but also I was more focused on my major, which I was going to college for human services, and I was more focused on my major than my what's the word I'm looking for? Required not required classes, but regular classes like math and English. I was more focused on classes that were important, that were more important to my major. But unfortunately, that ended up not happening. I did at least pass my group counseling class, but end up failing English and math. Combine that with also work, having to go to work to actually be able to afford to go to college and afford to have books. I need to make a tough decision. Either I don't have a job for the moment so I can just go to school, or do something else with my life. And so I made the most stunning decision at all and decided to not go back to school. Not like I won't go back eventually, just right now I decided to, well, leave. I've worked, and where do I even begin? It's not like I just chose to just leave and find a job and never go back to school. No, I still might in the future. I just don't know when. But for the time being, I'm, well, not in school, and instead I'm being an actual grown up. I have a job now. I'm actually striving towards something. And it's not like it wasn't something I found right off the bat. Literally, when I decided to quit school, I spent literally the summer thinking, what do I want to do with my life? And once I found the current job that I have now, which, by the way, I work at a convenience store called Dollar Tree, and I'm a sales floor associate. I've been working there for 4 months now, and I have no complaints. Literally, on the day I started working there and got hired, I heard that the district manager actually saw potential in me and liked my resume. So, huh, I'm good. I wonder what I can do there in the world of retail. And so, with all the stuff like me leaving school, COVID, sister's death, everything that just slapped me dead in the face, this I'm I'm not going to just take it. I decided, or at least to me, and just in general, going into 2021, this shit's not gonna fly, so I'm not gonna take it. Like, just like everyone else, we may be kicked down, we can also get back up. Because my New Year's resolution is to strive for things. I would like to strive more at the job that I have now, so I can actually make a career out of it, to actually sustain, make a living off it, and will by hopefully getting the assistant operations manager position, because they can actually use another one of those at my job. And just currently right now, while I'm striving for things, also learning to see like going into 2021, I'll basically be learning. I'll be, well, still learning on becoming an adult because I'm 21 now and I'm not in school. Like, guys my age are either working or they're in college, and I'm working, but but I'm just it's just I'm making goals, and I would like to aim for them and go, basically. That's all I can think of. But this video is not a rehash. It is basically to talk about things that were the best parts and some of the worst parts of 2020, particularly on the channel, which is, well, basically which is what the whole focus is. So let's start off with the bad first, since there's some shit that we've been through. For bad, or so far, for what I have in the good and the bad, it's just shows and movies that I have reviewed that I either really liked or really hated. So I'm starting off with the bad. Highest on my list, and I really hated this show, Toei Spider-Man. I fucking hated Toei Spider-Man. A lot of people said it was good. I really don't see how. It really pissed me off. It was the first time in a review where I got mad about something, and I needed to rip on this show, and I'm so glad that I did, and I don't regret a single thing that I said in that review. Moving on. What would have been on the bad list would have been Super 1, and trust me, I got really passionate in that review too, but I'm giving Super 1 a pass because despite what I think about it, well, I didn't like the first half of the show, but the second half was slightly better. So I decided to give Super 1 a pass. But what I did not really like this year in terms of movies in Tokusatsu was the Zeo over Quarzer movie. And by the way, I'm counting shows that I've reviewed, basically anything that I did in 2020. But yeah, I did watch and review the Over Quarzer movie, and dear God, do I still hate it. I don't like how anything in that movie made sense. Anything that was just stupid or bad just pissed me off even more. I watched that review a couple of days ago. I don't regret a single thing I said it, and I'm glad I did it how I did it. Thank freaking Christ. That movie sucked. Made no sense. It made no sense. Fuck the Over Quarzer movie. And so, last thing in the bad is Denko Chojin Gridman. I did not like Denko Chojin Gridman. I thought that show was going to be good. It wasn't. Literally, the anime from 2018 or 2019, it was better than the original show from the 90s. God, Gridman was just so disappointing. It was so good. It was supposed to be good. The first 3 episodes were good. The rest of the show was just shit. God, did it infuriate me just watching it for those 39 episodes. Man. And now, on to the good parts of this year. The Kamen Rider Drive. I totally forgot about this. I really like Drive. This is what I kicked off the year with reviewing Kamen Rider Drive. Hell, I remember Drive Month. That's how I kicked off 2020. Wow. I just remembered, and I watched a few episodes a couple days ago. I remembered I really liked Kamen Rider Drive. This show was fantastic. I like the characters. I like the villains. I like the suits. I like the real life aspects of the show. It was all just amazing. If you haven't watched Kamen Rider Drive, go watch Kamen Rider Drive. Ooh, another show that's also a personal favorite of mine is Tokime Sentai Go Busters. This was back when I reviewed Go Busters like a month ago, and I really enjoy Go Busters now. It was my first time fully watching the show, and God, do I love it. I think particularly I really loved the second half because it was just so fucking amazing. Like, literally, Go Busters is like one of my favorite Sentais right now because of the characters, villains, how the framework of the show, everything. Genius. Go Busters does not get a lot of love. I don't get why. This show is just tight. Nah, but opinions. Another show that I'm glad that I actually got to reviewing this year, Chojinki Metalder. It was the first time watching a Metal Heroes series, and the first time I think I tried watching it, I believe I didn't go through with it because I thought I got bored. I tried watching it again. Very good show. Like, I watched... Yeah, it's just a good show. Maybe it's because it was a slow start, but once I kept going and watching, I was like, okay, this actually isn't not so bad. It's pretty tight. Trust me. Trust me, I'm saying this right now. First 3 shows I mentioned, Kamen Rider Drive, Go Busters, Metalder, go watch them. They're brilliant. And so, the next one is a movie. That is the Kamen Rider Zi-O Gates Majesty movie. This movie was pretty good. I thought I wasn't going to like it. I was wrong. This movie, I thought was cool. Very good. And I think it's because I think Gates was a better focus to pay attention to than Sogo. But also, the plot and everything wasn't nonsensical. And so, I don't know, it did it for me. And so, last thing in the good that I really enjoyed this year, it's most likely my favorite video that I did this year, and it is the Grid Connection review. Reviewing the Beast Morphers Dino team up this year, that's my favorite review ever from this year so far, for multiple reasons. 1, I was reviewing Power Rangers. 2, I got to do it with Thomas, my best friend, who is also on YouTube, and go check out his content. He makes up his own OC riders and everything. And 3, the Dino team-up kind of sucked. Like, altogether, for what I talked about, it didn't suck, but the climax of it just sucked. And I wanted to rip on it. And I got to rip on it with my best friend, which was even better.
You'll be safe here, Keeper. Thank you. What kind of a moron leaves the keys in the ignition?
Who forgets their own car keys? That's a fun memory. And so, with that said, there are things from 2020 this year that I liked and things that I hated. Let's one more time just flip off 2020 and hope that 2021 will be better. And with that said, too, there are some things I also need to get out of the way and say. But first, let me get a drink of lemonade. Much better. So, right off the bat right now, this is the last video of the year. Last video of the year is going to be uploaded whatever time December 31st, which is today. And let's see here. This and going into January 1, Kamen Rider 01, it's going to be coming out this month. Well, not this month, next month. Anyway, point is, going into January, Kamen Rider 01, that review will be out. Right now, I'm actually watching the Thouser arc. I have my thoughts that I'll reveal in that review. And I don't, for what will I be uploading until I get out the review? Maybe then, but also maybe not, because I really want to focus on getting everything down and prepared for it. Clips, audio, finishing up the show to make sure it does get out in January so I can stay on schedule. And yeah, so I may be quiet for a couple of weeks, but maybe, that's a maybe. Possibly, like, at one point, maybe, going into this new year, if I do upload or if I don't. Actually, if I don't upload, I will probably be watching 01, getting ready for it. Because from uploading videos, I may take a break for a week or so until 01's good and ready to be posted. But I don't know yet. We'll see. Point is, actually, that's really the point. I really wanted to give a heads up right now. That is, if I'm inactive in videos for a little bit. I'm not too sure myself, but I don't know, if I feel like uploading anything, I will definitely try. But January, towards the beginning of January, Kamen Rider 01, it will be out. I'm not watching any other shows to sidetrack it. All 01 now. I'm completely in the 20s. And just look forward to it. And so, with that said, thank you guys for watching. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and tell your friends about Kamen Rider Black Man. And I will see you all next year. Once again, fuck 2020.